Started here in about 1 to 2 minutes, folks. Already, man. Finally, right? About time. Good Lord. Nothing good comes easy, right? But all good things come to those who wait. Yes, I am too, Israel. Excited to see what happens. Here we go. First election. Give it another minute and we'll get the call started. Yes, Brett, it's going to be fun. Saturday rolls around, you guys are going to start looking at projects and deciding which one to vote on. And just that part alone is going to be fun. It's going to be the most fun that a crypto community's ever had. But, well, I'm going to wait. I'm not going to say anything yet. I'm going to wait. I want to give just another minute to get everybody on. More people should be on this call. I'm telling you, there's a lot of people. I mean, this is why we're recording it. But folks, get your friends and people that you know in SOSANA, if they're not on this call tonight, forward this out to them. This is a very important call tonight. I know that Brian told everyone last night how important this call is. We are going to prepare for this weekend. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get the call started.
Recording in progress.
All right, SOSANA family, welcome everybody live. This is the Thursday night call, and welcome all of you new members and people listening to this recording that couldn't make the live call. Welcome to you too. Welcome everybody to the whole SOSANA family. Yes, so what is tonight? Tonight is the Thursday, the last Thursday, last call of the week, right before the first election ever. And it is a really important call tonight. That we have this call recorded. I wish more people were here, to be honest, because it's such an important call, but we just got to make sure everybody watches this and gets through this information so that they're prepared. And we have a few things coming on the other side of this call as well that we'll be getting out to you guys. It's really important information, but the key here is that you are prepared for this weekend. And Brian has a list of things he wants to go over with you real quick. I'll try to fill in the blanks. And Brian, why don't you just go ahead and take it away and let's talk about what to expect. What are we looking for?
Yeah, absolutely, man. So again, our whole focus and our whole goal, especially with the core community that has been here. I mean, I know some of you guys may have just joined, but we've got people that have been with us through this whole journey. We want this to be a hit for you guys or a successful experience. And I think the first part of it being a successful experience is not having you walk in and be surprised with everything you see and not being familiar, because there is going to be a point where I think people are going to feel some sense of urgency, like they want to accelerate and do things a little bit faster. And part of the ability to do that obviously is when you are prepared. So I kind of want to walk through a couple of things, and I'll give you some pointers, if you will. And I do want to tell you this too. This is not the last time you're going to hear from us. This is the last call, the last AMA, as you know. But we are having a meeting, in fact, directly after this with the developers. And on that, we're going to ask them about a few display things that are going to be shown, so we can maybe get back to you with even more detail about how exactly something may be displayed or something like that. Again, it might seem like we're going overboard, but we're not. We'd rather go overboard with you. We'd rather go above and beyond and make sure you guys are prepared than have people get to Saturday. And more importantly, Monday. You can get to Saturday and be slight. That's okay. You got time. But we don't want you to get to Monday when it's go time at 7 o'clock and feel like, what do I do? I don't know what to do, and et cetera, et cetera. So a couple of things we want to talk about. Number one, on Saturday, at 7 o'clock or shortly after 7, there's no rush. You don't have to be on there at 7 o'clock. It's not the same thing as Monday. But after 7 o'clock, you'll be able to go in, connect your wallet to the DApp, go to dap.sosana.io, the same thing you do when you're logging in any other time. Connect your wallet because it's a Web3 connection. And at that point, there is a button there that says nominate and vote, or vote in nominations, or something like that, the vote nominate button. You'll be able to click on that, and you'll see the tokens that have actually been nominated will actually come listed down, and you'll see those tokens. Now, we will take up to 25. It'll be up to 25 tokens. We don't know. Again, you guys, we've said that over and over again about how we are hands off. We want to make sure there's nothing that could ever point to that we're trying to engage in any type of manipulation or anything. So I can't tell you what the tokens are, and I can't even tell you how many of them are going to be. It'll be a maximum of 25. There may be 23, right? If enough nominations did not come in. I only say that. I have no idea, but I only say that because I don't want people to panic if you only see 23 tokens saying something's wrong with my system. It doesn't have 25 tokens. That is a possibility, as this is our first vote, and people are, getting used to this whole nomination process for the first time. We doubt that will be a possibility in the future. In the future, we're pretty certain that it's going to be the opposite, where we're always going to have far more than 25 tokens that are attempting to be nominated. So that's the first thing I want to say to you guys. Now, one of the display things that we want to get straight here with the developers is that I know Dave has been working incredibly hard with them to make sure that every single token that gets nominated, that gets nominated and displayed to you, will have what's called a directory page with a direct feed. The reason why he was having them work diligently on that programming is because he wanted to give you the option, if you wanted to be able to do research on the tokens. Everybody obviously should be doing research, but to be able to do that research without even having to come out of the system. So that's going to be an interesting thing. And that's one of the things we want to talk to them about is what exactly will that look like? Will there be a button right next to each token that says directory page or whatever? I mean, they were just finishing this up. So we don't know exactly what that's going to look like, but we want to be able to tell you guys. So that'll be something that we'll update you on probably tomorrow. So you'll know, okay, I just hit the button that says directory. It'll bring up a page. It has a live feed from that's going to show me the market cap, the liquidity pool, is it locked, all these different data points, the things that you should be looking at and evaluating when you're trying to determine if it is, if this is a solid project or not. Remember, the goal here is to vote for what you believe is the very best project out of all of the tokens. So there's 25 out of the 25 tokens. Here's the one that I believe is the absolute best. That's the goal. So in order to do that, you have to go through each one of those tokens, and you have to, click off your data points. Okay, we don't know who the owner is, so that's that's necessary. That might be a red flag. Okay, we do know who the owner is, and these guys have launched 3 other tokens successfully. That's a green light. Those type of things for each token, and then say, okay, this is the one that I want to vote for. Remember, you're going to have 48 hours, right? So from Saturday at 7 until Monday at 7, right? Technically Monday at 6:59, I guess, right? To get your vote in, because on Monday at 7 is when all of a sudden they're going to tell you when the DApp will actually reveal the winner. So you've got some time to be able to go through this process. You don't need to panic. Just go through, get it done, make your selection, and decide who you want to vote for. Now, here's the deal. Number one, remember, you cannot vote if you don't have some Solana in your wallet, okay? I know a lot of people are very focused on SOSANA, but they're forgetting that Solana is the gas fee for the Phantom wallet, right? When you're trying to do Solana-based transactions. So our voting mechanism is going to be on the Solana blockchain. You absolutely need to have some Solana in your wallet if you want to vote. Okay, so that's the first part. Now, when it comes to Monday night at 7 o'clock, right? When it announces out to you, you go and connect at 7 o'clock, and you see that token XYZ is the winner, right? And you have made your determination, and we're going to come back to this part in a minute, but you've made your determination that you want to be able to buy token XYZ. You need Solana to buy that token. The reason why, the fact that we're doing everything on the Solana blockchain right now means that you have the ability, just like those of you who went into your Phantom wallet, you had Solana, you swapped that Solana for SOSANA. That's how you got your SOSANA tokens. It's the same process to get to get this token, whatever token wins, token XYZ. You're going to have Solana, and you're simply going to go set up the swap, Solana for token XYZ, hit swap, and you'll be able to buy whatever amount of token XYZ that you want to buy. And I know that's important to people because a lot of you are going to try to, you want to move fast. You want to be able to get in there. If you do want to buy it, you want to try to buy it as quickly as possible. So with that in mind, I want to just give everybody a little tip, because I know this happened to people before. Not only do you need Solana to buy the token, you need some Solana, not a lot, right? But you need some Solana left over if you decide you want to sell that token. You can, and the reason why I'm saying that, because I think it's a very natural thing for people to say, hey, I've got a certain amount of Solana in my wallet. I want to buy $500 of this token. I got $500 worth of Solana. Swap all $500 for it. And then you might get to a point where you say, okay, I like what's going on here, or I've hit a price point that I want to do, and I want to sell some of it. And you're going to go try to sell, and it's going to be rejected because you've used all of your Solana to buy the token. So point there, what I call pro tip: don't use all your Solana. Leave a couple of bucks left over, so that if you at any point want to sell that token, you can sell that token without being stuck trying to figure out what's going wrong, getting frustrated, pulling your hair out, et cetera, et cetera. Not talking, when I say pulling your hair out, clearly I'm not talking to you, Professor. So just make sure you guys are good on that point about what you need gas for. You need gas to vote. You're going to need gas to buy. You're going to need gas to sell. Okay, so make sure that everybody on your team knows this. I promise you, even though I'm saying it now, even though this is on a video right now, there are going to be a lot of people stuck on Monday night trying to figure out why they can't, they don't know how to buy the token because they think they can buy it with SOSANA. You need Solana to buy the token, okay? And when they're trying to sell the token, they're going to say, why can't I sell the token? Why isn't this working? My Phantom wallet's broken because they got rid of all of their Solana. So that's a big deal to make sure you guys are thinking about that. The other thing is the determinant factors. We've talked about this before, but now I want to give you guys a little bit of a strategy. We talked about before, right, that there's 3 things you want to look at when you're determining your strategy for, hey, I want to participate in that SOSANA magic hour there, right? One is the size of the size of the market cap and the liquidity pool for the actual token that won. Okay, so you want to have an idea of what's going on with the token that won. Okay, this token that won, it's got a $2 million market cap. It's got 300,000 in the liquidity pool. Okay, you want to know those numbers, right? Because that's going to be one of the key pillars. The other key pillar is how many people roughly are in the community, right? So I would say right now, I would use a number just as an estimate. Again, I'm just going to give you guys an estimate of how many people we think may be participating on Monday night. I would aim somewhere between 700 and 1,000, right? And you guys can figure that out. But it doesn't matter from this standpoint. My math is, if I'm doing this in my head, because this is the first vote, you guys have seen me do this before. I say I'm going to take a number, and whatever that number is, I'm going to multiply it by $100, and I'm going to say, okay, that's about how much money I estimate may be going into this token. And that may be correct or may be wrong, guys. I'm telling you right now, that's just a estimate out of my mind about how much people are going to, people might want to buy the token. I know there's some people right now that are laughing because I've had people call me and tell me that I've had to talk some people off to what I consider the ledge and say, no. Don't do that, right? So again, it's just one of these things I want you guys to think about, but that's how you might figure out that number. And then the final number is what's going to happen the size of the DGen voter wallet. I will tell you right now, the way our system works, and I know I'm going to let Mark speak more to this here in a moment about the DGen voter wallet, but the way that our system works, guys, is that the DGen, when people are actually going out there and they're making purchases, they're making sales, they're doing transactions, and we got these taxes going in, it's coming into something called a radium pool, and then we have to harvest it out of that radium pool, right? And the harvesting is not a daily thing. It doesn't have to be a daily thing as long as we're covering all sorts of other operational things, et cetera. So there's some radium pool harvesting that we need to do to be able to get the final numbers on what the size of the DGen voter wallet is going to be. But that is going to, you guys will know that before Monday at 7 o'clock. So I just want to make that clear to everyone that you're not going to be wondering what the size of the pool is. And then after that, we're working on a way to kind of display it. So every time we update it going forward, you'll be able to see exactly what that is. So wanted to make that clear to everyone as well. But those are the three things though that you're looking at: size of the community, right? Size of the DGen voter wallet, and the size of the, of what's happening with a particular token in terms of the market cap slash how much is in their liquidity pool. Because as you might imagine, for those of you who don't understand, if you've got a $300,000 in a liquidity pool, just to give you an example, and $100,000 is going to go into that liquidity pool, again, we're not allowed to make promises or any of these blind projections, as you would say, but that's going to be a pretty nice hit, right? Versus if you've got 20 million in the liquidity pool, right, and you've got 100,000 going in, that might come across like a fly on a windshield, right? I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't impact it at all, but it may not impact it to the point where, it's like, it's going to make a noticeable difference. So these are things you want to know. So let me give you guys the pro tip. Here's the pro tip. Here's what I would do if I were you. I would get a little spreadsheet together. And this is what I'm telling you right now is how I would do this forever. Okay. Which means you're going to have an advantage probably over all the people who join us later, right? And try to figure this out later. But this is how I would do this forever. I would get a little spreadsheet, right? And I would, on Saturday, I would get all the tokens written down, all 20, 25 tokens, whatever it is, all written down. And then I would go in and as I'm doing my research, what I would do is I would write down for every single one of those tokens what the market cap and the liquidity pool is. So I already have it in front of me. That is already done, right? All that research is already done, complete. I don't have to try to figure out how to do it later. Now that I have this done, right? Now on Monday night, when it comes out and says token XYZ1, I simply circle token XYZ, right? At that point, I already will know, again, you guys can use whatever number you want. You can go low side, high side. I'm saying I would estimate between 700 and 1,000 people that are going to participate. Maybe just go low side, go 700, right? Just to be safe, right? Go 700 and use an estimate average of $100, right? And again, we'll get better data after this first vote, but 700 times $100 would be 70K, right? And say, okay, I already have that number written down, right? And already know the size of the DGen voter wallet. So the only thing I have to do right away is when the token is announced at 1, I look at the liquidity pool and I make my decision from there. Boom, instantly, I can make my decision. Low liquidity pool, I'm probably going to be a little bit more excited. Ridiculously high liquidity pool, I might be a little less, a little less cautious, whatever. Doesn't mean, again, I'm not saying we won't impact it. I'm just saying in terms of get it in your head of what your expectations are. So you're not sitting there, you're not being, I'm disappointed on this, on that. And so you're not scrambling around at 7 o'clock, what was that token? How do I look it up? And where do I go? And how do I find it? To all these types of things that you might do when you feel like you're under pressure because time is going by. That's the types of things that I would do. So those are the things, Mark, that I wanted to cover there quickly with everyone. Just to make sure again that they're kind of prepared. I just feel like we're going to have a few people again. They're just because I think the Solana thing is going to trip a lot of people up. So the final piece I will just say is whatever your maximum allotted potential budget is for that magic hour. In other words, if you say, hey, the most that I will buy, regardless of any situation, if all the factors are favorable to me, is $100, probably make sure you have about 110, 120 bucks worth of Solana in your wallet before we even get to Monday. If it's $1,000, same thing. Have 1,000 plus just $20, in your wallet before we even get to Monday. So you are not stressed out about that part of it. That's all. That if that hopefully that makes sense to you guys, right? If that, just to be prepared, be ready, so you can operate with some level of alacrity, right, and get things done. So that's really all I want to say. With that said, Mark,
Yep.
I'm turning back to you.
Great, Brian. Excellent. And I appreciate you taking the time to do that, just to try and give people the right expectation and just how to prepare and how to be cautious, and all that stuff is great. As you know, we can't give you any financial advice. We can't make decisions for you. But I will tell you this, there's some things that I just want you to think about whenever you're looking at these projects. You're going to see 25, potentially up to 25 projects. We don't know how many nominations are in. We really don't. Even David didn't know today. I think he can find out how many. He doesn't know which projects they are yet. So let's say you get in there and there's 15, there's 20, there's 25, whatever it is. I think for me personally, when I'm looking at a project, the very first thing I do is I go to their website. That's the first thing I do. Is it sharp? What does it look like? What's the utility? Does it solve a problem? Is it unique? Those are things you want to be thinking about. Does it solve a problem? Is it unique? Or is it just a really cool meme coin? Maybe it could be a meme coin that's like, wow, it's relevant. It's entertaining. It's got humor. It's building up a cult following. We can tell it's got momentum, maybe a little bit. Maybe you go to their socials. So first thing I do is go to the website, look it over. What is the purpose of it? What's it all about? Right? You're gonna get a pretty good feeling, but don't be fooled by a beautiful website either. Okay? Then you're gonna start dipping into the socials. Go to their Twitter. If they have a Telegram, go to their Telegram. Get a feel for that, right? And yes, of course, you want to look at the market cap and the liquidity pool, and you want to look at the chart. You want to see what kind of volume it's doing. Does it look active? Things like that. Those are all good things too. But I hope that just telling you that just gives you an idea of like, okay, start looking. Now, as far as the Degen pool is concerned, Solana, this is one of the challenges with the Degen pool. And it's not a big deal, but right now we've had this long period from token launch to now to having our first election. We finally got to that place. After Monday, remember, it's going to be every 2 weeks. Okay, so the first pool is probably going to be bigger than the next one, right? We already know that. I can't remember who it was in the chat, made an excellent point. It really doesn't matter what the pool is. The most important thing is you guys are actively participating. You're showing up on Saturday through Monday and you're voting. Doesn't matter I don't care what the reward is. You might as well vote for a token, even if you think the reward is small. But the goal is to build off of each election, one after the other. The first election, it may or may not be bigger than the second election. I really don't know that. One thing that's going against that Degen pool, because many of you guys keep asking about it, we have a certain number of Solana that have come in from day one, from the token launch, all the way to this following Monday. We're gonna be, David is going to go in and he's going to pull from the final harvest of what's come into that Radiant pool. And I want you guys to know, we're going to display the Degen pool to you guys before the vote finishes, so you guys will know it. And from that day forward, you will always see a Degen pool number. You'll always know it. It'll be on display on the website, in the dApp. You guys are going to be able to see an ongoing, growing Degen pool. And that's pretty cool. You're also going to see an ongoing, growing pre-launch project pool. We know that it's going to be a little while before we start bringing out pre-launch projects, but we still want you guys to know. We want you guys to see what's in there and what's growing. And so you guys are going to be able to see that. That's critical. We know that's important to the community, because that dangles that carrot, right? That the bigger it gets, the more exciting it becomes. And that's when we start to go viral. I mean, we just know that that's a big, big, important part of this whole process. So critical. But you got to also look at, it's always a timing thing, right? If Solana had gone from the time that we launched this project, Solana was around $230, I believe, something like that. If you look at the market right now, it's around $77. We're holding Solana. So if Solana goes up, great. If Solana goes down, it's going to diminish the pool. I remember when, and most of you probably don't remember this, but there was a time when David came out and he showed the value, and it was around $34,000 in Solana at the time, and that was in October. Okay, so if you go from the early October days to now, you could tell obviously that Solana has dropped significantly. And so we don't want, I just want to make sure people don't have the expectations of like, oh, well, if it was $34,000 in October, it must be $60,000 now. Well, it would be if Solana had at least maintained its value. But you can tell Solana has gone down dramatically. And you also know in this building phase, this is the building phase. We're all in it. This is in our growing pain phase. This is during the time when the community is just now preparing for the first election. Many of you guys, and understandably so, have been sitting on your hands waiting for this moment. And that's understandable. But because of that, obviously, we don't have as much volume coming in as would be happening if we were growing and building and everybody was jumping into this thing. We also know that there's a very important thing that needs to happen. The owner's wallet's going to get locked. Tokens are going to be, you're not going to go to bubble maps anymore and see this big fat wallet that it's all going to be shrunk down and distributed so that it no longer shows, that the top 10 holders are not holding 90% of our token. Like that's going to go away. Today's Thursday. Our goal is to make that happen next week. Okay. Big, great, wonderful developments are coming. In the meantime, I want you guys to have this realistic expectation of what the degen pool is. I'm estimating it's somewhere around 20,000 something, 20,000 and change. I don't know the exact number yet, but it's somewhere around there. But like I said, if Solana had maintained its value from day one, when we first, from then to now, it'd probably be 50, 60,000. So it is what it is. Look at Solana right now. It's $77.31. So just have a realistic expectation of what it is. And then moving forward, what's really cool is it's not going to matter as much because it's going to be every 2 weeks. Solana can only move so much in a 2-week period, right? And I have a feeling, I could be wrong without giving financial advice, but I have a feeling it's going to go up from here. I have a feeling we've hit our bottom, but that doesn't mean we have, because trust me, I don't care what any YouTube influencer says or any so-called expert says. Nobody knows what's going to happen. But there are some fundamental things you can look at in the market to kind of help you realize that there's a good chance that we're probably around the bottom potentially. If we're not, then you're going to see another skid. It's going to be what it's going to be. We can't control the market, but I told you guys, SOSANA's business model is designed to transcend the market. We're actually not going to really care that much after the first election what the market necessarily is doing. Now, a bull market, of course, is going to help us. It's not going to hurt us. But my point is that a bear market is not going to be, I don't think it's going to have a dramatic impact on SOSANA like it does other projects. Because like I said, why would people stop showing up every 2 weeks to vote and find something brand new, this new experience, this new discovery every 2 weeks? Why would people stop doing that? That's just not the case. What people need to see is they need to see this thing working. They need to feel like, oh, good, proof of concept, good, this is working, wow, this is exciting. And then they need to see from a tokenomics perspective that owner's wallet be locked, properly distributed. We all know there's a 1-year cliff period. There's an 18-month disbursement that's going out, and then there's a 1-year cliff period and a 5-year distribution after that. So there's like a 6-year period of like when tokens fully go out into distribution. There's going to be also, David has almost the light papers just about completed and ready. That should be ready next week too. That'll be going out, a fully just decked out, full explanation in the light paper of exactly the tokenomics, all that stuff. So we're getting there. It's just one step at a time. We're getting there. The beautiful thing is we're going to have an election, and it's going to be fun. And I want you guys to just enjoy it. Be cautious, but have fun. And whether or not you're going to buy the token and add it to your portfolio. I mean, I think Brian did an excellent job of going over things that you need to be looking at to be prepared. But the game is in your hands, right? It's not in our hands. We can't make decisions for you. We can't give you advice. We can just kind of give you a bit of a guide on what to look for, and then you guys are going to make that decision. So just an exciting time ahead. I want to know if there's anybody that has any questions right now. I really do want to open it up to some questions. because what's that?
Yeah, while you're opening up to questions, I just want to, while you're looking for questions, I just want to say something, which is a couple of things about the market being down. Number one, I mean, first of all, for all of you who invest in crypto, you probably, like most of the people I know who invest in crypto, are pretty excited because everything's on sale, right? And it's
Right.
like, you know, I get these prices. Things are at a price of, like, you know, they're down, like maybe some things are down 2/3 of what they were just a few months ago. So you know that, you know what I mean, the market will settle like it always does. But you already have a price point in your mind of how much of a discount you're getting on some of these things. And that's cool. The other thing, though, is, guys, remember, part of the thing we talked about is that we get to a point where, you know, we're putting so much into a token, like, you know, in an hour, that people will actually, sitting on exchanges, have no idea who we are, have no idea who that token is. It will start popping up on their exchanges as fast moving tokens. Like, this token just grew by, you know, 80% in the last 10 minutes. It grew by, you know, 125% in the last 15 minutes. And people will, because most people have that shiny object syndrome, right? They're going to say, oh, I don't know what's going on over there, but they're going to buy that token so you can get outside money. Guys, in a market that's going down, right, where everything is red, it won't take a lot for us to actually create, you know, a real nice green, you know, potentially, green upward trend on a token. So it's more likely to jump out to people a lot faster, you know, in a market that's down. So just think about that from a standpoint of, I mean, that is one of our goals. One of the things that we're excited about as a community is that it's over time, it's not just going to be our community that is actually engaging in these tokens. It's going to be a whole bunch of people engaging in these tokens that have no idea who we are, but they just see the movement of a token, they get fear of loss, they jump in, and that continues to put more and more buy pressure, which we can all potentially win from. So I just wanted to point that out, Mark, and I know you got some questions to make it happen.
Yep. Okay, so I'm going to go down, guys. I know some of you have already asked some questions, but I'm going to start at the bottom because, and that means, in starting at the bottom with Richard B's question here, that means you need to repost your question. Okay, please do that, because there's a bunch of stuff going on up there, and it's going to make it a lot easier for me to just kind of go through. Okay, so post your question again, starting at the bottom. First thing I'm going to start with is Richard B. Question: I have no idea how much Brian's hypothetical $70,000 purchase might affect a given coin's price, given that coin's liquidity pool. If the LP is, say, 700,000, would our buying 70,000 of that coin likely to increase its LP significantly, or would we have to buy like 350,000 to move the coin's price upward significantly? That is far too detailed of a question. And I mean, I can tell you that, you know, if $70,000 goes into a $700,000 liquidity pool, you're going to go up about 10%, right? I mean, that's
potentially more. Well, here's a good way of looking. Who asked that question?
That's Richard B.
Richard B. Great question. It is a great question. I'm sure a lot of other people have the same types of thought process. I'm gonna give you an answer, but I want you to understand that there is no exact mathematical response to it, because you can't determine what other selling might be going on when that's happening, and some other factor, what that token is paired to, and what's happening to the token it's paired to at that time. So there are some other factors, but let me just give you a use case, something that I'm sure you've looked at, Richard B. Look at our own token. Look at SOSANA, right? SOSANA has, Mark, what, 300,000, a little less than 300,000 in the liquidity pool. Does that sound about right? I'm not looking at it. It sound about right. And look at what happens when there's a $5,000 to $10,000 purchase of our token, right? How much it shoots it up, right? Versus a $5,000 or $10,000 sell, how much it shoots it down, right? And that's just 5 or 10 grand, right? Like hitting a token where you get potentially some really significant movement. It's not movement. It's not a factor of movement. It's like our token's not going to double in value because somebody makes a $10,000 purchase. But if we're at 20 cents and somebody makes a $10,000 purchase, it will probably take our token. I'm just talking about because I've seen this before. I'm not projecting out someone else's, but at 20 cents, somebody puts 10,000 into our token on the chart. it'll take our token up to 24, 25 cents. So that's like, that's like a 20 to 25% growth move, right? And by the same token, by the same token, no pun intended. When we're sitting at 50 cents and somebody dumps $10,000 or $15,000 worth of the token, it could bring us down, to 41 cents or something like that, So if you can think about that, right, and that type of movement, we have 300,000 roughly in our liquidity pool, and how those types of numbers are moving, growth or shrinking our price point. You can start to maybe project a little bit. Again, I wish there was a straight mathematical formula, like Mark said. Hey, we're putting in 70,000. The liquidity pool is 700,000. We're going to increase the price by 10%. But it's not actually going to work like that on a one-to-one thing.
Well, and it could be a lot more than that. Actually, I just asked ChatGPT what it thinks. Now, this doesn't mean they're right, but it actually says on average it might increase by about 44%.
Yeah.
And then it goes on in an explanation for that. That's a tough one. But go ahead, Brian. I don't mean to cut you off.
No, because that's what I was going to say. I think it would be significantly more.
Yeah.
But the reason why I'm hesitant to say that is because again, guys, we don't want to make guarantees because we don't have the crystal ball. I would just say, if I was buying a token and we believe 70 grand was going in and it was a $700,000 liquidity pool, my expectation would be that it's going to grow a decent level. And I'm just going to say a decent level, and you can fill in the blank in your head, whatever you think that is. So that's just my expectation. I think if you've got 70 grand going in, where I start to say, okay, maybe we only move it a small percentage, is when we get liquidity pools in the millions. But again, the great thing about this first vote is we're gonna pull a lot of data from this vote. We're gonna pull a lot of data, and everybody's gonna be even more prepared. Going into the next one, So that would be my thought process there, Richard B. But that is a great question.
Yeah. And there's another question. Israel says, has the marketing begun already? No, it has not begun. We're not ready. We don't want to really, until there were some things earlier in the call when I told you some things that are about to get accomplished, some final steps before what we believe will be the potential for some explosive growth in the near future, right? But there's no real big marketing push yet from corporate. But we're always going to have word of mouth. We're always going to have, there's some great affiliates out there, man. I'm telling you, they are just waiting. They can't wait, but they are waiting for a few things to happen, right? And when they happen, it's gonna be fun. Kim Snyder asks, are you saying these don't have a requirement to have a utility? No, they don't, Kim, because it might be a meme coin. What if it's a really cool meme coin? That's just, wow, that is awesome. It's relevant. It's funny. It's got a great character. The website's sharp. The community's hopping, and everybody looks excited. Meme coins can win. And it doesn't have to have any utility. Does Pepe have a utility? Multi-billion-dollar project, right? Pepe made it to $9 billion with no utility. So no, it doesn't have to have a utility. Chris asks, will the number of SOSANA live members be posted on the DAP.io SOSANA website on Monday at 7 p.m.? Live members be posted. I don't see how that's going to happen. Like, it doesn't make sense. You're going to see how many votes occurred, though.
Yeah, and I think because Chris is trying to make a calculation in his head.
Right.
Okay, that's how many live members we got. But remember, everybody doesn't have to vote, right? There's no law that's not vote. I'm sorry. Well, everybody doesn't have to vote. First of all, that is true as well. But nor does everybody have to participate in that hour. You know what I mean? So even telling you how many, like we will get a data point when we get an idea. We'll look at we're going to look at because we can look at the token, right? If a token XYZ wins, we can look at the amount of volume that goes into that token in that hour, and that's going to be a big data point for us going forward, right? Because we can then kind of push that against how many members are in SOSANA, get an idea of what percentage of them participate and everything, and we'll come back to you guys with some of this data to help you in your calculations going forward when you're making a determinant factor. But I just want to make you understand there is no rule, and I think everybody understands this. You don't have to participate, right? You can sit back and watch. And I anticipate some people will sit back and watch, and some people will go way harder than $100. So it's gonna, we're gonna have to figure that out as we go along. But yeah, I don't think it's gonna be posted there for you. But we'll get some data that we can share with you guys afterwards to kind of give you an idea of what happened, what drove it, and that's going to help your numbers get a little bit tighter and sharper going forward.
Yeah, John Adams asks, sounds like we can only purchase the winning token with Solana. Does it need to be done on the Phantom wallet, or can we use Radium or Jupiter? If so, what are the pluses and minuses of using other than Phantom? Okay, well, Phantom is there for purely the beauty of convenience, and I also think security, because you don't have to connect to anything. You just go into your Phantom wallet, you paste in the contract, and you buy or sell. That means convenience, and it means tremendous security, because you don't then have to connect your wallet to anything. And I think for most people that don't have any experience, they better use their Phantom wallet. Okay, but the only downside is it does just cost a little bit more. You're going to get a 1% fee every time you use your Phantom wallet to do a swap. There's just no getting around that. But I think for some of you, you should just pay the 1%. Don't quibble with it, because I don't want to see. I mean, I've heard people say, "Oh yeah, I went and connected to what I thought was Jupiter, and it drained my wallet." Okay, so I just don't want someone who, if when in doubt, please be safe. Use your Phantom wallet. Don't be running around the internet trying to connect to other decentralized exchanges. Otherwise, I actually like Jupiter. Jupiter, for me, from my experience, I'm just giving you my opinion. I'm not giving you advice. I'm just giving you my opinion. My opinion is that Jupiter's fast. It's very low fees, a lot lower than 1%. And I've just found that I've been able to do my swaps real quickly and easily through Jupiter. For whatever reason, Jupiter just does an excellent job. And if you're going to do it on mobile, you need to use your Phantom browser, and you need to only go to the website jup.ag. If it's anything else, you could be scammed. So make sure it's jup.ag, and you do it through your Phantom browser. If you're on desktop, then you just go to your, you go to your browser and you put in jup.ag, and then you connect your wallet. Okay, but you'll do the same thing if you're on, most people I know are on mobile. So just make sure that you use your Phantom browser. And the way that you do that is on the low, you open up your wallet, right? In the lower right-hand corner, you're going to see a little, kind of like that search icon, like the little magnifying glass. Click that, and then it's going to pop up. At the very top, it's going to say put in the site, right? The website, and that's where you type in jup.ag. And it's kind of neat because it'll show you after you type that in, it'll give you a little display on the Jupiter website to click on it. And you'll click on that. You'll then connect your wallet through that, and then you'll decide how much Solana you want to use. And yes, you are going to be using that. Brings me to the next question. Gershon asks, I understood we must buy the winning token with Sosana, and you must have gotten confused. You do not want to buy any tokens with the Sosana token. That's not what you do. You can only buy it with Solana or USDC on Solana, or some of the stable coins. You can do USDT, USDC. I prefer USDC because it just gets in and out of Coinbase for free. I love USDC. And I use Coinbase when I'm cashing out crypto. So I'm going to turn crypto into cash. I always try to turn it first into USDC, send it to Coinbase, cash it out. There's almost no fees. That's what I do. Again, these are just my opinions. I'm not giving you advice and telling you what to do. I'm just telling you the things that I do. Okay. But yeah, you have to use Solana. You can't exchange. And please listen. And some of you can do this if you want. It's up to you. But I highly, highly recommend you not consider selling Sosana and then going and buying the native token or the winning token or whatever, and getting out of Sosana and then getting into another token. Like I'm not telling you not to do it. I'm just telling you I don't recommend it. It's totally up to you, but I recommend having a separate source of Solana or USDC to use it through that swap. Did you have something you want to say, Brian?
Yeah, two things. One is, again, can you repeat the part again about USDC
Yep.
on the Solana network. A lot of people, if they're not very indoctrinated in crypto, USDC is USDC.
Right. They think of Ethereum.
USDC on the Ethereum network,
right?
All sorts of things that aren't working and are going to be frustrated. Yep. So can you just explain that, please?
Yeah, you can actually sell Solana into USDC by just going to either your Phantom and swapping it out into USDC, because it'll give you a choice in the drop-down menu. So whatever token's sitting in your wallet, if you'd rather sell it into USDC than Solana, you can do that. You just choose USDC, and it's automatically, of course, on the Solana network. And you can't send USDC from that Solana Phantom wallet to an Ethereum address. You can't do it. It's like, I think it's impossible. I've never tried to do it, but I think your Phantom wallet would stop you and say, this is not a valid Solana address. It's not going to let you do it. Okay. But what you would do then, if you need to send it, and I don't know how deep you want me to go, Brian, but whenever you have USDC sitting on your Solana, which I do, I do it all the time. USDC sitting there. The beautiful thing about it is there's no ups and downs, right? You know, Solana, you know, crypto, it's going to go from 10% up, 10% down from one day to the next, right? So if you want to save the value of your Solana, you might be looking at your Solana right now and say, okay, I got $300 in Solana right now. And you just want to guarantee that come Monday, it's still at $300, then go to your Phantom wallet and exchange it for USDC. And if you, and I'm telling you, you can use USDC on the Solana network to purchase any token in the Solana blockchain, anything. So if you just want to do it with USDC and you're just comfortable doing that, do it. Anytime you're doing something new you've never done before, run little tests. Be like, okay, I don't know about this. I've never done this before, but let's go ahead and try to sell some of my $300 worth of Solana into USDC. Start with like $5. Just sell like $5 worth. Watch it show up in your wallet and go, okay, there it is. Good, got it down. And then you get more and more comfortable and you'll just start, doing the full amounts, whatever you want to do. But it's anybody's guess whether or not Solana is going to be worth more on Monday than it is today. It's sitting at $77.50 as I speak. It just went down to $77.42. You just don't know where it's going to be. If I had to guess, I think it's going to be more. But again, that's just a guess. I have no idea. I really don't. I have an idea, but I don't have a crystal ball, So you guys are going to have to make all these decisions for yourselves, but I hope that's helpful.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to.
You make one great point, which is if I were you guys and I've never swapped ever inside my Phantom wallet, and the first time you're ever going to try to do it is on Monday night at 7 o'clock, I would actually just go do a test for myself with $5.
Yeah.
And set up for any token. Doesn't matter what token it is. See if I can swap to buy $5 of a token, and then see if I can swap to sell it. You know what I mean? Just so you can have that experience. Any questions you have that you don't understand, like, oh man, I brought up something that's that slippage, or anything that you don't understand, try being confused before Monday. Be confused on Saturday or Sunday. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then you call the professor and say, hey man, like, I'm confused. I don't understand this. And he can explain it to you so you're not confused on Monday, right? Yeah. Monday game time, right? What do they say? We cry in the dojo so we can laugh on the battlefield, right? That's an old samurai saying. Cry on Saturday and Sunday, guys. I don't want you to be crying on Monday. So there you go.
Yeah. Helen is asking, will purchases of the winning token of Solana be immediate? No, it's an hour. So from the time that it actually shows up at 7 p.m., you're going to have a whole hour. And I'm telling you guys, I really want you to be thinking along the lines of looking for quality projects more than trying to catch a pump. Okay, please think that way. Like, just don't be like, oh, I got to catch the pump, then I want to dump it. Like, I don't want you to be, I don't really like that thought process. Now, I know, listen, some of you are really good at doing that. And if that's what you want to do, that's your game. Okay, I don't care. That's fine. If you want to roll the dice, some of you want to gamble a little bit, that's fine. I'm just telling you, just be cautious and be careful. And, this is our first election. Enjoy it. Don't do something that's going to make you bite your nails. All right. I just don't recommend that. But again, that's your decision. That's the beautiful thing. We live in I would say free country, but I know a lot of you guys are outside the country. So we live in a world where in crypto, that's kind of the beauty of it. It's your decision, and you guys can decide what you want to do. I do see someone's hand hand raised. If you could just go into the Telegram and just ask your question there. Okay, so
Before you go on, Mark,
looking for the next question. What's
Mark,
that?
before you go on,
Yep.
you were making a comment about Jupiter, and you were
Yes.
saying that for newbies, hey, just maybe consider staying with Phantom, because if
Yep.
you link with Jupiter, you could get drained. I just wanted you to clarify that it's not that Jupiter is draining anybody.
Right,
It's scammers that put up sites that look like Jupiter.
Correct.
And instead of it having the Jupiter address, it has one letter added or deleted. And
Right.
if you don't pay attention, it looks like a Jupiter address.
Exactly. They make it look like a Jupiter swap, and they just take your money. It's crazy. These scammers, like you said a little while back, Professor, they're very clever, talented people. If they would just use their skills towards good, they'd probably make more money. That's the funny thing about it. They'd make more money. But this is what they do, and they don't believe in anything else, and it is what it is. But I just throw that out there to people. I'm not saying you can't use jup.ag. You can use it. There's no possible way that if you go to jup.ag and you connect your wallet that it can get drained. That is impossible. But if you go to a wallet that looks like jup.ag and it's jupl.ag or jup's whatever, and it just looks different, just check the link and make sure. If you're going to do it, it's really not a complicated process. I'm not trying to deter anybody from doing it. I'm just trying to say, if you're in doubt, because I know some of you guys are really, really new to the industry, and God bless you. I don't want you to get hurt, right? And if you haven't done so already, please go through that 7-minute Telegram video tutorial that talks about how to be safe on Telegram. Because if you'll take my recommendations and directions in that tutorial on Telegram, you're not going to get scammed by anybody. Nobody in Telegram is going to come to you and hurt you, because you're going to block everybody. You're going to make sure it can't happen. And I'm going to be I need to get out more of a video that talks about how to be secure in Phantom too. So many things on my plate. I'm going to try to get to that as soon as I can. All right. Stacy asks, can someone who is not an affiliate or founding member vote? You can vote if you're not an affiliate. All you got to do is have your KYC done, which was $9.99. And so you don't have to be a founding member to vote. You just have to hold $50 in SOSANA. So if you've been through KYC, which is just $9.99, so that we can identify you and make sure you're not gaming the system with a bunch of fake wallets, right? Then have $50 worth of SOSANA in your wallet. You'll connect to the DApp and vote. That's all you got to do. All right, let's see. Looking for the next question. Here we go. When it comes to pre-launches later, will they be available on Phantom, or how will that all work? Pre-launches will not be available on Phantom because they haven't launched to the live network yet. So they're not on any decentralized exchanges. They're not out there, so you can't buy them through Phantom. The only thing you're going to be able to do is vote for those projects. And if you vote for the winning project, you're going to get rewarded from the wallet in Solana, which is going to then be sent to your Phantom. Okay? That's how that works. So just know that there's an airdrop that will occur. Of course, you'll be an affiliate. You can't vote in the pre-launch. Now that's, that kind of brings me back to the other person, Stacy. Just know that it is true that you can vote for live projects on the the blockchain without being an affiliate, but you cannot vote for pre-launch projects unless you're a registered affiliate. So that's a whole nother reason why you definitely want to become a founder, so that you don't miss out on that. But I hope that answers you, Helen. Richard asks, does the Phantom Wallet app work well on the Apple laptop? I mean, as far as I know, I know it works on iPads. I don't know very much about the MacBook, but I'm sure it does. I actually don't know.
Yes. Yes.
Does it work good?
Yes.
Brian knows. Okay, good. So yeah, I'm sure it does. I mean, I would be really surprised if it doesn't. Let's see, John Ames. So I should not use the Jupiter app, but instead the browser. Okay, see, John, you're asking that question, which makes me assume that you're really new to crypto. And that's why I would tell you, if you want to keep it real simple, just go into your Phantom wallet, your app, and paste the contract into that swap. Go to the swap, click the swap button, and just have your Solana, whatever amount you want in Solana. Below that, you're going to click the drop-down menu, and you're going to paste the contract in, and you're going to buy it that way, if that's what you're comfortable doing. Otherwise, if you're going to go to to the Jupiter swap and you're on mobile, you have to do it through your Phantom browser. You have to open up Phantom, click that little, again, it looks like a little magnifying glass icon, right? The search bar. It's down at the lower right corner, not the upper one. That won't get you there. The lower one in the right, in the lower right-hand corner, you got to click on that, and then it's going to pull up a window, and at the very top, you're going to be able to type in the website, jup.ag, if you want to swap through Jupiter. And then you're going to connect your wallet when jup.ag takes you through that Phantom browser to that website where you connect your wallet, and then you can make the swap. Okay? So you can, and if you want to test it, like, you know, you got plenty of time between now and Monday. You could test out, do little tests, you know, little $1 tests if you want to. Practice. Michael J. asks, when are we going to turn out the lights on this Telegram community and fully move to our private community? Deleting/reporting Telegram scammers is becoming a daily chore. God bless you. We can't wait. I can't give you a timeline on that. That's a David question. But even he's not going to give you an exact hard date. But I'm telling you, as soon as possible. That's all I can tell you. We cannot wait until we are completely off of Telegram and nobody has to worry about those scammers anymore. It's going to be so nice. We can't wait. Brian, can you explain slippage again? Do you want to explain it or me?
Go ahead.
Okay. So slippage basically means there's a lot of ways slippages can occur, but the biggest way is when lots of transactions are happening at once. So if you're going to buy, you may buy thinking you're going to get a certain price. So maybe you're going to put $100 and it tells you for $100 you're going to get 1,000 tokens. You put it in there because the market's moving and going crazy. You're going to click buy, and sometimes it's not going to give you 1,000 tokens. Sometimes it's going to give you a slippage where you got less. Oh, I got 900 tokens. Crap, slippage. Or you got a little more because it went down in your favor, so you got a little bit more. So it really depends on the heavy. It's like heavily trafficked with lots of volume. You're going to find lots of slippage there. And it can range anywhere from 30 to 40% on average, most up or down. And so it's going to happen, man. I mean, it's going to be a fun time when we've got slippage going on because we've got such a big community. We've got so many voters here. We've got so many transactions just going off, right? That's going to be a fun time when that happens. Boy, I'll tell you what, that's going to be for most people. People hate slippage when it comes to investing. But as a SOSANA member, people are like, man, we got slippage because our whole community is so big and so active. It's going to be an exciting time. So it's actually going to be a good problem to have in the future.
Well, you can set a tolerance, Mark. Explain that to them. Like if you can set your
slippage, right?
Like so that you're basically saying as long as the movement is within this amount,
yeah,
I still want the buy or the sell.
It's whatever you'll accept. Yeah, it's like I accept getting 30% less. I accept getting 10% less. I accept getting 5% less. You can actually program in the Phantom wallet your own slippage. Okay, you could program whatever slippage you're willing to tolerate, which means you might be getting into a project saying, man, I'm going to tolerate up to 30% because I just think that I just want to get in. Like I just know this thing's going up. I want to get in. So you might tolerate more slippage in a situation like that. Or you might say, I'm not going to tolerate more than 5% because I'm not going to get ripped off. You might do that. So that's going to be what you're going to have to determine that. Let's see.
Beyond that, your tolerance, it'll just reject your order.
Yeah, and rather than go into, opening up my wallet and showing you how to program slippage, I want you guys to here's the beautiful thing about YouTube. You could literally type that in, or ChatGPT. ChatGPT is probably better because ChatGPT will give you a step-by-step, click here, go there, click here, do this, do that. ChatGPT is wonderful for that, but if you're not using ChatGPT or you don't want to, just go to YouTube and say how to program slippage on the Phantom wallet, and I guarantee you're going to have all kinds of tutorials that will walk you through exactly how to do it in minutes. Super, super easy. Not a difficult thing. Let's see. What do you plan on setting your slippage on Monday? Brett, that's a great question. I don't have any advice on how to set slippage on Monday. I really don't. I'm sorry, man. I just don't know what to tell you there. But I'm not see, we're not expecting fireworks. We're not expecting to hit the tipping point in the first election, are we? I don't think so. But then again, I also don't know what token the community's going to vote for either. So I don't know. I can't answer that. That's just, you're going to have to just kind of figure it out. But it also, that's another thing. When you're in a situation and you don't know what to do, usually the best situation is to sit it out, watch, and learn, right? Kind of learn from it, or start conservative. Just be like, you know what? I'm not really sure what to do. This seems risky. Then risk little. Don't risk a lot. You don't want to just throw out more money than you can afford when you don't know what you're doing, right? That's the best advice I can give you. Let's see here. Richard P says USDC or USDT. I said USDC, but you can also use USDT as well. I prefer USDC. You know what's cool about the Solana network is that unlike Ethereum, you don't have to pay big gas fees. Okay. So if you've got it in USDT, you can convert it from USDT to USDC almost for free. So it really doesn't matter. But I can tell you, if you're going to move money from your Phantom wallet on the Solana network and you want to turn that crypto into cash, don't send Solana to Coinbase, because you're going to get hit with 3% probably. You're going to get hit with a fee. And there's just no reason for that, because if you turn it into USDC while it's on the Solana network and then send it on the Solana network to Coinbase to a Solana address that they give you, and if you've never done that before, send yourself $5 and see what happens. Make sure you know how to do it. Take your time. Don't do anything rash or crazy. Test it. Don't send it going, man, I don't know if this is going to work, but here it goes. Like, don't do that. What you want to do is just send yourself a tiny little test and go, oh, bam, it just got there. Okay, now send yourself the rest. And triple check the address you use, please. I've had it happen myself where I sent it to the wrong address. I'm like, oh my gosh, you can't get that money back. If you send it to the wrong place, it's gone forever, right? There's no customer service in crypto world, right? So make sure you triple check the address of, if you're in your Coinbase, say, okay, I'm going to turn cash into crypto. I just went to, whether it's Jupiter or Phantom. And of course, if you're turning cash into, or crypto into cash, and you're turning Solana into a stable coin, USDC, you're going to pay 1% if you have to go through the convenience of using Phantom. But then you can go to Jupiter and pay a fraction of that, and you can turn whatever it is in Solana. I mean, I've seen it where I've had like, $1,500 in Solana, and I'll literally turn it into USDC right there on Jupiter, and it's like $1,500 in USDC. It's almost nothing, right? And then I'll take that USDC and I'll go get my Solana USDC receiving address in Coinbase, and I'll match them up, copy it, go to my Phantom, send that USDC, paste it in there, triple check it. I always look at the first 4 and the last 4, and I do a double take every time. I'm like, okay, yep, got it. Okay, boom. And then send it. And if you've never done it before, send yourself $1. Send yourself $5. Send yourself something really small. Then you'll see it show up. It usually gets there in about 20 seconds because Solana is so great. And you're going to see it in your Coinbase. You're going to go, oh, boom, there's my $5. Okay. Then you go to send the rest, triple check the address, and just send the rest. That's what you do. I hope that helped you guys. All right. Helen asked, Mark, I meant purchasing the winning token on Phantom, the time on Phantom for the purchase. Any holdup if we want to send a small test first? I mean, it's always going to take you more time to send yourself a small test first. So if you're thinking, I want to buy the winning token, I'll buy $5 first. If you've never done it before, yes, that's a great thing to do. Don't worry about missing out, okay? Focus more on doing it right, because if you don't do it right, you're going to miss out, right? No matter what. You're going to, even if you get it at the perfect time and you do it wrong, you just missed out. So make sure that you do it right. I know that you're not very experienced, so yes, test it, play it, and you could look at some of these nominations and think, okay, that's the one I think it's going to win. Let me do a little test before they reveal the winner. Ain't nothing wrong with that, right? Buy $5 of it. Watch it get into your wallet and go, okay, I got this. And then you know what to do. You're going to have a whole hour. That's another beautiful thing about having a whole hour. You get plenty of time to run your little tests to make sure you do it right.
And Mark, whoever asking that question, I mean, yes. I mean, even if you bought, as long as your order is accepted, which means you didn't set some low slippage, and yes, you will see those tokens pop into your wallet right away. If you go to do the swap and it gives you the check mark swap completed, you can go verify that you've got $5 worth of those tokens if you're trying to do a test.
Yeah, and then you'll know. Practice, practice. All right, there is a question in here somewhere. I have my settings set to the maximum for a free Telegram user. I rarely get messages from solicitors, and when I do, I either A, mess with them a little bit. Oh, there's a question mark. Or B, block them immediately. Okay, that was actually an answer, I guess, to someone else's issue. Okay, sorry. I saw a question mark in there, so I hadn't read the question. All right, let's go to the next one. When will we move to the secure community? Yeah, we answered that earlier. Soon as humanly possible. That's when. Let's see. Anytime on our own platform. Okay, anytime on our. Oh, yep, same question. I'm glad you guys want to move there, man, because it is crucial. It's huge. It's a big aspect of what makes us a safe haven, isn't it? We want to bring brand new people into our community that never have to worry about some scammer calling them up on Telegram and getting their seed phrase from them, or getting them to click on some link that drains their wallet. That'll be a great day, won't it? And don't you think other crypto communities are going to want to do that too? You think crypto communities are going to love the idea of nominating their project, coming into our community, and using it as a safe haven? That's pretty awesome. Okay, let's see here. If I KYC for this weekend and then decide I want to upgrade to Founder for $99 before the price goes up, is that a possibility? Right now, that is technically not a possibility. It's not. We don't have that option right now. So please don't choose KYC only, thinking that you're going to get the Founder later. That's a big deal right now. I've noticed that with people. Just the option's not there. Thanks for asking that.
Yeah, that's a great question. And just to add, upgrading, even though we show that upgrade countdown time clock, that's because that's how the system is programmed. Because the founders is something we're doing special. But what that's really there for is when a person comes on board, they come in for a basic affiliate. They decide within 60 days they want to become a premium affiliate. They'll be able to upgrade for just the difference in pricing within that 60 days. After that expires, the upgrade option will be gone. So that great question, but no, you cannot pay $10 to KYC and then upgrade to be a founder later. If you'll simply won't be able to get that.
Yeah, and I just realized, as much as I really want to hang out with you guys all night, we're running out of time, and me and Brian need to meet with the devs again and go over some stuff. As Brian told you, we're planning on trying to disperse a little more information for you guys before Saturday and Monday. And so I have to end the call for tonight, but we are going to be as readily available during the weekend as we can via Telegram. I don't want you to think that we're just going to leave you guys in the dark. I am going to be watching the Telegram as much as I can every waking hour, and I'm going to try to make myself as available as I can. That doesn't mean I'm always going to be available, because people are going to be asking for my attention, right? So if you send me a message and you can't get a hold of me, just please be patient with that. But there's a ton of really awesome people like Lori and Keith and Professor, people that are going to be in the Telegram that can also help you with basic questions, stuff like that. I can't answer. I mean, please don't send me basic questions, because I'm not going to have time to do that. My Telegram will get inundated with private messages, and I'll be answering some of the same ones. Show up there in the Telegram, get some of those questions answered, and just, try to do it that way if you can. But if it's really important and you're like really stuck and you're like, man, I just don't know what to do, feel free to message me and I'll do whatever I can to help you. And hopefully it's during the waking hours of the dev team so that they can help you if it's some sort of a technical thing. And let me just say this before we start this. Here comes the election. Okay, Saturday's coming. It's going to be a time for all of us. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be fun. But it's not going to be you guys all want the smooth ride. I want the smooth ride. But it's going to be a bumpy ride. I'm just telling you. This is our first election. We're making history, right? Did the Wright brothers take off and fly off a cliff on their first try? No. They knew better than that, because they knew their plane was going to crash and they'd be dead now. Well, they are dead now. But I mean, they'd have been dead back then. They would have never made it, right?
Long ago.
So yeah, this is like, I want you to guys think of yourself like this. Just put yourself in this situation. We are still SOSANA beta. We really are. I mean, we are so new. You guys are participating in something that's never been done. You're part of the beta version in that way. Yes, it's complete. Yes, it's supposed to work. We've tested the crap out of it. Okay, we think it's going to work, but it's nothing like going into a live environment and seeing something happen. It just, trust me. I just know there's going to be someone say, "Oh man, I voted, something didn't work, and it's not working. I keep trying to do it," and it's probably going to be on their side. It's going to be something to do with their phone, or it's going to be something to do with their internet connection or their browser or whatever. Or maybe they don't have a little bit of Solana in their wallet like we told them to, or maybe their wallet's not connected and they think it is. Who knows? There's always going to be something, right? But just please be patient throughout this process, because I can tell you, with this project and what we're about to do, this cliche has never been more true. Good things come to those who wait. We are going to do some amazing things in this industry. It is going to be incredible. And the ride starts this Saturday. And then the first reveal is Monday. It's an exciting time, but enjoy the journey. Okay. I know there's going to be some bumps. Please have the mindset, enjoy the journey, because you're part of something so special and you're so early. You're going to be looking back saying, man, remember when SOSANA was 23 cents? That's hilarious. It's like $23 now. You know, something like that's going to happen. I think, not financial advice, but that's what I think. Okay. So everybody have a great, calm weekend. I know you're excited, but take a deep breath. Let's enjoy the process and get through it together. And trust me, we will do everything in our power to make sure your vote counts, to make sure that you count, and that you get the reward coming to you if you vote for the winning token. And we're going to do everything we can. Doesn't mean we're perfect. Okay, so be patient with us. Everybody have a great night. Enjoy your weekend, and we will see you guys Monday. It's going to be exciting. We'll see you then.
Thanks, guys.